I have so many feelings walking out of this movie, and I don't even know where to start. I'm John Hayeck, and welcome to my movie thoughts. Deadpool 2. A lot of people wanted it to be called the untitled Deadpool sequel because that would have been meta, and Deadpool's all about being meta, but, Deadpool 2 works completely fine as well. Deadpool 2 is obviously the sequel to 2016's Deadpool, brings back Ryan Reynolds in the titular role as Wade Wilson / the Mark of the Mouth / Deadpool. He's much snarkier, much more meta, much more fourth wall breaking than most superheroes. He goes through much more violent means to get his work done, and we see much more of that in this movie. We bring back favorites from the first movie, such as Marina Baccarin as his character's love interest. We bring back Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Colossus, Blind Owl, TJ Miller's character, amongst others, and we introduce many new characters in the movie, such as Domino, played by Zazie Beetz, Cable, played by Josh Brolin. We have Terry Crews in a role. We have a couple other spoiler cameo-ish roles there that I'm not going to get into at this point in time, but there are so many characters in this movie. It's the bigger sequel, it's the bolder sequel, and in my opinion, it's the better sequel. Deadpool 1 we all really liked because it was creative, it was innovative, it was breaking the mold of the superhero movie. It made references that we understood, it made a lot of kind of unique little jabs at the industry that we really appreciated. But for me, I appreciated those jabs in the industry, and I appreciated those kind of references and that meta humor, but I did think that it followed the superhero formula a little bit too strictly. Like, it was very predictable, you knew what was going to happen, and even though it was making fun of that, it still felt like it fell into a lot of those tropes. With Deadpool 2, I was excited for it because I was excited to see where it would go, because superhero sequels have a tendency of breaking the mold of what came before. Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I loved. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, though, I appreciated because it was so different from the first Guardians. Same thing with Captain America the Winter Soldier and how different it was than Captain America the First Avenger. When you get into these comic book movie sequels, you have a chance to kind of break the mold of what a typical superhero movie is. And in Deadpool 2, you have exactly that. You have the kind of cliche of bringing a team together to get a job done more efficiently, but the way that this movie makes fun of that is done in such a creative and unique way that it doesn't even feel like a cliche in this movie. Same thing with time travel. Time travel is brought into the sequel, but is barely even addressed because they understand that a lot of sequels might bring in time travel, like X-Men Days of Future Past, one of my favorite movies, that's X-Men First Class, another one of my favorite superhero movies. But this movie doesn't center the movie around time travel. It basically brings the team-up element to the time travel element, and also throws in more of the love story that we knew and loved from the first movie, and has all those elements going on and tries to juggle all of them, and does it pretty successfully. It makes all these elements going on concurrently feel equally as important as Deadpool's personal arc in this movie. And I really appreciate that this movie didn't just shoot for kind of one villain in its sequel to make it feel kind of, traditional sequel, like, oh, the villain goes out and beats the villain again, like that's exactly what's going to happen. No, this movie does so many different things in such a different way that I really appreciated that. And as I mentioned, Deadpool's personal arc, Wade Wilson goes through a lot in this movie, and I really liked that because in Deadpool 1, I thought it was good, but for a guy that got diagnosed with so much cancer, and for a guy that had his girlfriend stolen from him, and for a guy that was going through a lot of stuff, it felt like he was just kind of joking around it. And I really think this movie addressed his heart. It really addressed what he was going through as a person, and didn't just make him out to be a joke. He joked around, that's part of his character for sure, that's what he's gonna do, but there are some moments in Deadpool 2 where he just sits and looks and thinks for a minute or two and really feels something that you didn't have in Deadpool 1, and that really brought out a lot more of what Wade Wilson felt like as just a person, not some disposable superhero, not some disposable snarky superhero like we have in most superhero movies nowadays. You feel like you get to the heart of Wade Wilson, and beyond just Wade Wilson as a character, and beyond just what makes this sequel better than the first Deadpool, I do think that this movie amps up the funniness of the entire thing. Not only does it have more references, but it has more just extreme gore. It has a lot more just overall blows that you feel like you don't see the setups coming, and you feel like when the punchlines hit, they hit harder than they have in a lot of comedies you've seen in recent memory. I feel like Deadpool 2 blends action with comedy really well in ways that you didn't even expect to kind of see coming, and I feel like the introduction of new characters add for a lot of humor as well, particularly with Domino, who is my favorite addition of the new characters. But guys, I thought Deadpool 2 was overall a really fun time movies. My few complaints with it are that the pacing sometimes drags on a little bit. It's about an hour and 50 minutes or so. It feels like it's about 2:10, which is, something to complain about. But when the movie keeps you entertained, you do feel like, alright, as long as it's keeping me entertained, I'm not going to complain. It just didn't feel as brisk as the first Deadpool. And they make this one decision towards the end of the movie that I wish they'd stuck with. I knew that they weren't going to, but I wish they'd stuck with this one decision towards the end of the movie. And I just, coming out of the movie, I thought that, alright, if I understand, it's so hard to talk about without going into spoilers. Basically, something happens, and I wish they'd stuck with that instead of kind of undoing a certain thing. But then the post-credit scene hits, and it kind of reversed my mood on that. I still feel a little bit peeved that it happened, but the post-credit scene did kind of help deflate the blow a little bit. And the post-credit scene is amazing. And that's all I'll say about that, guys. But I really enjoyed Deadpool 2. I like it even more than Deadpool 1. It's not my favorite movie of the year or anything like that, but it is definitely a superhero movie to go out and see this summer. It's raunchy, it's fun, it's heartfelt. It really does a lot of things that you wouldn't expect a sequel to Deadpool 2 do. I recommend it thoroughly. I'm going to give Deadpool 2 an A-. Be sure to let me know all of your guys' thoughts on Deadpool 2 in the comment section down below. You guys can go over to mymoviethoughts.com, follow me on Twitter @JohnHayeck, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for tons more posts from me. Links to all three of those are in the description down below as well. You guys can like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I'm John Hayeck, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.